Hi, today let's talk about what to draw. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'd like to draw something, but I'm not sure. I don't know what to draw. So let's try this. A couple of things. I'm going to touch on a couple of things. One, we're actually going to trace our hand and use that to draw from. But I want to show you some tips on that. A lot of times I have kids do this and they get all these kind of distorted things. I'm going to show you some do's and don'ts here. All right, so put my hand right on the paper. A lot of times what happens is, look at my pencil. Kids will hold it tipped way down. And what you're going to get is, I'll actually show you. We'll demonstrate. Get this weird alien looking thing going on here. So here's what we have. I see this with kids a lot because they're not holding the pencil straight up. Now we can save this. We could work with this, do something with it. I want to demonstrate what I want to actually do. What to draw. So you get the blank paper syndrome. Well, let's draw this. So I want to hold my pencil kind of straight up and down. And you don't have to press too hard. You just want to get the kind of impression of where stuff is because we're going to do a lot of work with this. So you go around and it's going to come out a little different than your actual hand, but should be pretty close. Okay, so we even have this indent where my ring is. Okay, so then we have that for our basics. I talked in another video about light source. We're going to have our light source coming from here. That's the direction the light is coming. So if I were to, let's see if I can do it like, if I were to put my hand like this, we're going to get the shading on the side that's away from the light. Okay, so we're going to focus on that. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to look at some of the details that I have. My hand here, we don't have to be super accurate with this. We're sketching. Watch how freely I draw. Lightly, just going to put my fingernails in. Lightly, and I'll hold this up so you can see it. Now the thumb, remember, you're going to see it kind of from the side. Okay, so here we start to get some details in. Sketch lightly so that you can get rid of the lines. So I'm going to put some of my old hand lines in here. And of course, the more you accentuate these lines, the older it will become. Now there will be some knuckle stuff going on here. We'll touch on that later, but let's not go too crazy. All right, here's the part where it gets really cool. All right, so I got some of the lines in. Actually starting to look like a hand. All right, so let's do some of the shading. I want it darkest where it's away, and I might as well, since I got these ridges here, I might as well put my ring on. So I'm going to go dark where it would meet whatever surface it was touching. And like I demonstrated with our basic shapes, we go from dark and then we work to light. So I go really dark right on the edge, right on the back edge, away from where the shading is. And if you didn't see my other video of the basic shapes, check that out. I got a lot about shading on there. All right, like I say, this is a blank paper, kind of a challenge. If you don't know what to draw, you're just like, oh, I want to draw something, I don't know what to draw. You can do this. Now you don't have to trace your hand, of course. You could just look at it and draw it. But for today, I wanted to get into this a little bit. All right, so now I'm using the side of my pencil to come in a little bit more with the shadows. And I'll show you in a second here what we got. This is what we got so far. All right. And I'm going to just put a hint right here just to add some depth to the whole hand. Now, again, if I'm going to picture this as laying, I could go really crazy if I want to show that it's actually laying on like a table or something, I can actually add, and I'll show you this, some shadow that would be cast on whatever surface my hand is on. This adds some depth as well. And we're going to clean all that up and everything. Okay, so we got that. Now I want to add a little bit of, just a little bit of depth here where my knuckles might be. Okay, again, look how loosely I'm just kind of sketching these in. All right, now I'm going to use that technique that I showed you before where I'm blending. And this really softens it up nicely. Get in between the fingers. You can always look at your hand for reference, of course. Just a hint right here. Okay, and then this is fun to just kind of practice with. All right, so then I want to add a little bit more depth to where my fingernails would be. Sharp point on here. So this is where there would be some shadow. See what I'm doing here is just giving it a little hint. Of depth. And then I can add that line. Definitely want to darken this up because that's got to show. Okay. All right, so this is what we got so far. Now I'm starting to look into this, refrigerator art. This might actually get some hang time. All right, a little more depth on my ring here because that would be in shadow there. Okay. And that. So now I can add a little more if I wanted to add a little more because I do have older hands. So I can be kind of bold with the lines. Not going to make me look any older than I am already. Okay, and we got that. Smooth that out a little bit. And there we go. So we have a quick drawing of a hand. Now there's a lot more detail we can put into this. And for fun, you could even lighten up the lines that are away from the light source. And look what this would look like. We're experimenting here. Just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that you can do. Because this looks pretty cool. I've really lightened up the lines that are away from the light source. And now, what if we darkened up this even more, brought that even more towards the center? And I'm barely pushing down on my pencil. Just barely. Bringing that shadow around. And again, if you go too dark, you can always lighten it up with an eraser. Go dark like this. So it looks pretty cool. And of course, it's even cooler from a distance. And like I say, then you can add in more details if you want to. Darken stuff up, play around with it, erase, add, whatever you think. Whatever floats your boat, because this is your drawing, okay? I'm going to add a little detail right to that shadow. beef it up right here. There. I want you to notice that right here, as we came down, we want the dark to kind of fade to light because the light source would be picking up right in here. All right, so there's a little bit about what to draw and a little bit more of that shading, because that's like my favorite thing, adding shading to drawings and stuff like that. So check it out. We'll do some more. Bye for now.